SuperTalk.com. We will continue the college football conversation, if that's okay with you guys, because there's another thing that we have not looked at. We've got some Vegas odds, some lines on some rivalry games coming up next year, this year. Georgia and Florida, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville. A game that is generally close. This line is not. Georgia, a 17-point favorite over the Florida Gators in Jacktown.
I've seen a lot of people mock Anthony Richardson as a first-round pick in the upcoming draft. I like his skill set a lot. He has to improve dramatically to be that kind of player. Billy Napier is a very good coach. He's not a miracle worker. It's not going to happen right away.
Seen a lot of people mocking Will Levis number 1 overall, so we can just mock whatever you want.
I figured, so last year, Pro Football Focus, put on my conspiracy hat, was getting paid by Liberty University for positive Malik Willis content. Might be doing the same for Will Levis.
That wouldn't be the most controversial thing a Liberty employee is paid for.
Oh, hated. Hey,
how's it going? He's going to sit over here and watch now.
Kentucky at Tennessee, where Tennessee is a 3.5. I heard you. I just ignored it.
Borky gave me the woo.
Yeah.
Kentucky
Tennessee,
is a 3-point favorite.
3.5. Tennessee, a 3.5-point favorite at home against Kentucky. It's on Rocky Top.
It should be a really good game. I don't know that I would go one way or the other this early in the process.
You know how in certain states, specifically like drugstores, have had to put special barricades around everything in the store now because people just walk up and take it? I wonder if Tennessee's going to have to do that with their condiment section. Like you have to get an employee to come unlock it so you can put mustard on your hot dog.
Oh, you mean like where they put like a lock on the rack where you're trying to buy a razor or something?
Right, yeah. You think they're going to have to do the same thing in Neyland? I mean, I know it's getting a small renovation this offseason. I wonder if they're having to install some of those plastic cover things that you have to get unlocked to make sure that there's no projectiles that people can run up and grab.
Tennessee at Georgia, where Georgia is a 17.5-point favorite.
Ooh. Yeah. As we sit here today, on May 17th, I like the Vols and the points there.
Yeah, you know, the injuries
That's
happen
November
in football.
5th.
That game is late in the season. Like, Hendon Hooker could go down. I hope this doesn't happen, but he could go down in, like, week 2 and ruin this. But I will take Tennessee plus 17.5. I don't think they're ready to win that game yet. I don't, because they're not.
They played Georgia as tough as anybody on the schedule last year. Not named Alabama in the SEC championship game, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're giving that offense 3 scores to lose by?
And Georgia's not the most explosive offense either. So, I mean, what are we talking about the score of this game is? Like, 27-10, something like that? No. Tennessee's going to put points.
You didn't even listen last week when I read all the scores to Georgia's games last year. They scored a bunch of points every game.
That was last year. This is a different
And you
year.
think Georgia's taking a step back offensively?
I think they'll take a small step back in all phases of the game. They lost some key players, and the reason they scored a lot of points.
Who did they lose offensively that's going to cause them to take a step back?
They lost a couple of offensive linemen. They lost George Pickens.
Man, Pickens played 2 games last year.
The other thing to consider, though, is they're not going to be as good defensively. They'll still be really, really good, but they're not going to be as good, and that defense got them the ball back a lot.
Okay.
Set them up with a lot of plus situations. A lot of those points scored were probably turnovers that turned into points. pick sixes and such.
Remember, we only have to lose by 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, I feel good. If you want to right now lock me in for Tennessee plus 17.5, I'll take it.
No, I don't disagree with that. I lean in that same direction. Just the idea that Georgia's not explosive offensively, I'm not 100% sure I'm buying into that. I'd love to see that as a shootout. Give me 38-34 between the hedges.
Yeah.
And can I have that game at night, please, instead of getting stuck on? I'm so tired of 2:30 games on CBS. I want night games. I love night games. Give me night games. But no, I don't have a problem with 11 o'clock games for non-conference either. So,
just give me football, man. I'll find the time.
Alabama, a 16-point favorite in Baton Rouge against LSU.
That is after Alabama's bye week, for what that's worth.
I'll give the points.
Laying them on May 17th.
Yeah.
Texas A&M at Florida. That's been kind of a weird series. A&M a 9-point favorite.
It's in College Station, by the way.
In College Station. Did I say at Florida? I'm sorry. Florida at Texas
A&M. A&M escapes with a win there.
So
Florida shows up to play.
We're going to see it a lot in Atlanta at media days, and you're going to hear it really all summer about Texas A&M. Oh, they're just too talented. They're going to win games on talent alone. Are we sure that is actually the case? This is the SEC after all. I mean, Georgia was able to out-talent people last year, but that's because they had the best collection of talent in college football. Does Texas A&M have that right now? I don't think so.
Especially not where it matters the most, at the quarterback position.
You say they're going to out-talent everybody. Does Texas A&M have objectively more talent?
Let me ask you this. Would you be shocked if Texas A&M went 8-4?
No. Losses to,
Alabama, State, Ole Miss, they could lose those games for sure, and then one more that you just don't
Wait, they're going to lose to those garbage programs? Those trash programs?
Trash programs, bro.
I only half agree with that.
Like, look, man, they got to go to Columbia, not the Missouri one, the other one.
It took Richard a second.
No, I knew exactly. I just couldn't decide whether to even react.
South Carolina. Well, A&M's off the week before as well, but they got to go to South Carolina. That's a hostile place to play. It's not easy.
If you don't have an elite quarterback, you can have elite talent everywhere, but if you don't have an elite quarterback, I'm not penciling you in for 10 wins. I'm just not.
LSU at Arkansas, with Arkansas a slight favorite, a 2.5-point favorite. Also,
last year.
That is on the 12th of November.
Arkansas hosts Liberty the week before, and LSU is hosting Alabama.
Alabama.
I'll take the Hawks.
Yep.
By the way, the following weekend, it is sure to be raining and 35 degrees for Ole Miss and Arkansas in the next to last weekend of the regular season.
Whatever. I'll take the over in that game. I don't care what the number is. I take the over in Ole Miss, Arkansas every time.
Based on what you said. I just would like to see Ole Miss play well in Fayetteville. Hadn't seen that a whole lot.
They did the last time they were up there, didn't they?
Did they?
No,
because I'm pretty sure the last time they were up there, Matt Corral threw 7 interceptions.
I was thinking
or 6 or whatever the number was.
I'm thinking of that when they came back to win there at the end with Tamu. I guess that was 18.
In Fayetteville?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about Lexington?
It was Little Rock. They played that game in Little Rock, where it was raining.
Oh, yeah, it was Little Rock. And then the Little Rock people got kind of upset about Ole Miss not being terribly gracious about the opportunity to play in that game, in that stadium.
Oh, my God. Nobody wants to play in that stadium.
Oh, I disagree. I love that stadium.
You're the only one.
That's fun. That's a fun spot to play. Couple more. Georgia, a 16-point favorite at Kentucky. Where's that one on the schedule? That is also late in the year. Next to last game of the regular season.
Georgia is in Starkville before that game, and Kentucky is hosting Vanderbilt before that game.
Okay. I recall last year, Kentucky had the late backdoor cover in that one. They scored with 10 seconds left to cut the lead to 18 or something and covered that one.
It's all-time great.
Could history repeat itself?
That could be we'll see what happens. That could be a really good atmosphere game as well. Kroger Field gets loud. They did a really good job with the renovation of that.
Kroger's Field.
Thank you. Let's go to Kroger's.
Next to Walmart Stadium.
Yeah, right up there in Northwest Arkansas at Walmart's Stadium. Yes, I understand. Egg Bowl, baby, Ole Miss as a touchdown favorite, 7-point favorite at home against Mississippi State.
I have a weird reasoning for thinking that line is okay, and that's I have questions about Ole Miss. I do, but by the time we get to that game, I'm gonna have my answers one way or the other. Right? If the answers are positive, if Dart comes in and he's a good quarterback, if all these receivers mesh. Defensively, they can replace Williams and Campbell. Yeah, at home, they should be a touchdown favorite.
It feels like it makes sense on May 17th.
Yeah.
It's a very good way to put it.
If you're a person, most people believe that Ole Miss is going to be pretty good this year. That they're going to, I don't know about not miss a beat, but they believe Dart will be good. Offensively, they're like you said, Richard, you give Kiffin the benefit of the doubt. They'll figure it out defensively. Most people think Ole Miss is going to be a pretty good team this year. So even if you like State, even if you think State's a good team, at home, a touchdown, sure.
Yeah, I feel like most people that are looking at Ole Miss reasonably say they take a step. If a step represents a win, they take a step or two back, but they're still a pretty good team that has a pretty good season.
Yeah.
They won some close games last year to get to 10 wins in the regular season.
The schedule does set up well for them this one.
It does.
Yeah, they should be able to build some momentum.
Yeah, it's no doubt backloaded. Troy, UCA, Georgia Tech, Tulsa. Kentucky, huge circle around that game. Then at Vandy. Then Auburn. Then at LSU. And then at A&M. I mean, the finishing stretch is brutal. Open date before and by the way, it's 9 straight before getting the open date. And then it's Bama, Arkansas on the road, Mississippi State.
I don't think this team is like that, but there's some we believe Mississippi State to that, right? Remember they started off really hot, 7-0, and then played that game against Tennessee, which is sort of like that Kentucky game you're mentioning. You're like, ooh, they beat Tennessee, and then you find out that, they weren't really that good. That could happen to Ole Miss. They could, start off hot and then hit that backstretch and just flounder. But they could also win a bunch of games.
Yeah.
They'll be more than a touchdown favorite in 6 of their first 7 games. And the other one's at home.
Yeah. It's Kentucky, yeah.
So you think they'll be more than a touchdown favorite against Auburn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Oxford?
They should be. Auburn should be. Auburn's not any good.
Yeah. And yet Ole Miss never beats Auburn.
No, it's always weird.
That's true.
Ole Miss just doesn't beat Auburn. Ole Miss Auburn is kind of like Mississippi State LSU.
Yeah. State's had a little more success in recent years, but you're right. I mean, that's always a game.
Yeah, but I mean, a little more success is what? 3 wins in the last 15 years?
Well, prior to that, it was 1 win in 22. So, yeah. That's
I understand, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, Ole Miss beat Auburn in, 98 over there, and they won over there in 03, and They got a couple in Oxford, but not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah. And lost to them, the best Ole Miss team of, last 2 decades. Lost to what ended up being a bad Auburn team.
It was a bad Auburn team that lost 5 in a row after they beat Ole Miss. 5 in a row or 6 in a row? They lost 6 in a row, including the bowl game. Whatever it was a precipitous fall.
They were 6-2 when they played State, so they lost, I guess, 5 in a row after that.
Yeah. Florida as a 6-point favorite in Tallahassee against Florida State.
Sure.
Texas A&M.
I have no feeling on that game one way or the other.
Yeah, Texas A&M 9.5-point favorite in Baton Rouge. No, I'm sorry, in College Station.
Still no.
Really?
It's going to be closer.
Final game of the regular season?
I feel like it'll be closer.
Okay. And then one more. Here's your last one. Iron Bowl. Alabama, a 26-point favorite over Auburn. This is the most important part. It's in Tuscaloosa. Alabama beats the crap out of Auburn in Tuscaloosa, and they either lose or just barely hang on the Plains.
They will shut the door on Brian Harsin. Be like, it was nice knowing you. Take it easy.
Oh, you think that'll be it?
Well, I don't think they're going to have a winning record, so there'll be no bowl game for him. So, yeah, I think that'll be it.
Yeah.
I think that will be his last game as head coach of the Auburn Tigers.
Ooh. Or can you believe that?
That'll be his last game either way. I think he's out.
Okay. So,
if he wins enough games to maybe retain his job, I still think he'd leave.
Listen to how crazy this is. So last year in Auburn, Bama wins in 4 overtimes, 24-22. Year before that, 42-13 in Tuscaloosa. 2019 in Auburn, 48-45 Auburn win. 2018 in Tuscaloosa, Bama 52-21. 2017 in Auburn, Auburn wins at 26-14. Alabama by 18 back in 2016 in Tuscaloosa. Alabama won by 16 in 2015, 29-13. So that's the last time Alabama had a double-digit win there. And the last time Auburn even kept it reasonably close in Tuscaloosa was 2014 when they only lost by 11. Weird series. Weird.